Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, verse number 13. Raja Pradanan Mahatas Trilindro Daiva Choditat Jatah Sasarja Bhutadir Vyadadini Panchasaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As impelled by the destiny of the Jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from the Mahatattva, in which the element of Rajas predominates. From the ego, in turn, evolved many groups of five principles. Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The primordial matter or Prakriti, material nature, consisting of three modes, generates four groups of five. The first group is called elementary and consists of earth, water, fire, air and ether. The second group of five is called Tanmatra, referring to the subtle elements, sense objects, sound, touch, form, taste and smell. The third group is the five sense organs for acquiring knowledge, eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. And the fourth group is the five working senses, speech, hands, feet, anus and genitals. Some says that there are five groups of five. One group is the sense objects, one is the five elements, one is the five sense organs for acquiring knowledge, and another is the senses for working, and the fifth group is the five deities who control these divisions. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So Maitreya is the last verse. We saw how the three modes of material nature are in a state of equilibrium before it is acted upon by Kala, by Mahavishnu and also by the karma of the individual jivas. When Kala agitates the karma or the destiny or the daiva of each jiva, then again creation begins. And now here we see how the creation began. As impelled by the destiny of the jiva, the false ego, which is of three kinds, evolved from Mahatattva, in which the element of Rajas predominate. So when it is in a state of equilibrium, the living entities are also lying dormant in Mahavishnu's body. But all his past accumulated karma, that is also with him. Even though creation is fresh, but it starts off from where the different karmic accumulation for each jiva who are injected into this material energy. So in this verse also it says, impelled by the destiny of the jiva. Destiny of the jiva, the false ego starts manifesting. Because destiny means you have to fulfill your independent desires. Independent desires can be fulfilled only by false ego, through false ego. So creation means it starts with false ego. The three kinds of false ego in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. So ahankara is said to have evolved out of Mahatattva. Is one of the elements evolved from Mahatattva. False ego evolved from Mahatattva. Because in the sleeping state, the living entity in Mahavishnu's body does not have false ego. Because it's a material element. In the previous dissolution, that's all gone. Only the soul with the backing of his karma, which he is not aware of, is within the Mahavishnu's body. So this destiny is a very fundamental factor in all the living entities in this material world. That is why we see different kinds of living entities. 84 lakh species of living beings. Animals, aquatics, reptiles, human beings. Like that, so many living entities, different forms are there. They all living entities are capable of thinking, feeling and willing, but they are bound by different bodies. So destiny is ruling each one of us. That nobody can deny. They may be in ignorance, but they cannot deny it. Nobody can say whether he chose to be born in a poor family or somebody is born in a rich family. Different kinds of family if you are born. As a child you have no freedom. Do you have freedom as a child? No. As a baby you don't have any choice. You are simply influenced by the environment. Not only influenced by the environment, your environment builds you up. What your father tells, mother tells, all the people surrounding you, what they tell, they become value inside you. And then when you grow up, at that time you don't have choice. When you grow up, then you say there is no God. I am independent. What independent you are? Your independence, where was your independence? Today what you are talking is an influence of something that has entered you without your independence. You are thinking like this because of your upbringing. If you are been brought up in another kind of environment, you would be talking something else. So how each of us are completely dependent on destiny. Only when we grow up and then after some time we feel we have some freedom. But that freedom is with respect to external material energy. When you become adult, you cannot think that I got a freedom, I will change how I look. I will increase my height. Or I will, all of a sudden, I had no taste for art, I will become an artist. All of a sudden, till now, I could not sing well. Now I will become expert singer. Destiny. Destiny is acting on each of us in the form of this gross body and subtle body. So the people should at least, those who challenge God, those who question everything in existence, saying that it is all automatically going on, it is material energy, I am superior to material energy. If you are superior to material energy, then why don't you change your destiny? There are so many things that you have, that is undesirable in your body and your mind. so many things that you have seen in somebody else's body and mind desirable. Why don't you have the power go and get all those desirables and all the undesirables you give up? You cannot. You have to live with your undesirables. And you have to live with your mere desire for desirables. Unless there is again destiny, you will not get it. So this destiny factor is something that if one has the knowledge of this destiny, it humbles him. It humbles him that there is a controller and somebody is controlling. It is not automatic. So just see how even at the time of fresh creation, your destiny is a factor. If destiny is a factor, how destiny was formed? Destiny is created by our own self. Our past free will in the present is manifest as destiny. Our accumulated decisions in the past, they all become today's destined. Your life is destined by those conditions created by your past actions. So just see how important is your decision making and your free will. Entire life is about that. Is how we have exercised our free will. Every action as a reaction. In the material world, we are talking about material life itself. See, everybody has got a different kinds of bodies, different kinds of facility, different kinds of parents, different kinds of abilities in the intelligence, everything. It's all based upon what he has earned by his past activities. The past activities in the human form of life is considered to be two types, Papa and Punya. And according to that, one earns the next life. We are not talking about impersonal action, every action has a reaction. That also in material world, Newton's law of action and reaction is there. We are talking about subtle laws of nature, where certain, as a human being, you are supposed to not to do certain things, and you are supposed to do certain things as a duty. If these things, what you are supposed to do, you don't do, or if you violate what you do, what you are not supposed to do, sinful activities, then you get papa, then you have to suffer for it. People ask, what is the proof of law of karma? The very fact that every individual is different is a proof of law of karma. What you have, he may not have. What he has, he may not have. This is a reality of this world. This perspective of humanity, this perspective of life on earth, it is only available from the Vedic perspective. None of the other religions have this understanding of law of karma. It's only in Sanatana Dharma we have this understanding of law of karma, which explains why everyone is where he is, what he is, what he will be, where he will be. These are all things which are easily explainable by law of karma. So destiny is one of the factors that shapes one's false ego. Where he had left previously, there it will continue. And then further other elements are created, because only false ego, the jiva is there and jiva experiences independent false ego, independent identity. That is the first experience. He does not have any senses. He does not have eyes, nose, nothing he has. Then slowly, the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, ether is created, manifests from Mahatattva, from Ahankara, then Mahatattva, from Mahatattva, first Ahankara, then total earth, then water, fire, air, ether. This comes into existence. Then the tanmatra, 5 tanmatras, they come into seeing, touching, smelling, tasting, hearing. These are subtle sense objects. Object may be different things, but finally what the object produces, let's say a sound. This is a wood, but the sound that comes out is subtle sense object. So tanmatras are subtle sense objects. Sound, touch, form, taste, smell. Then there is a 5 groups. There are 5 groups. 4 into 5. First is Panchabhuta. Then Tanmatras. Then 5 Jnana Indriyas. Then 5 Karma Indriyas. 5 Jnana Indriyas are all the information taking Indriyas. Eyes, skin, smell, taste, hearing, ears. So that is the 5 information input senses. It is called Jnana Indriya. Except the skin, the rest of the body, all the Jnana Indriyas are here. Isn't it? Ear, nose, taste, eyes. Skin also is here, but skin extends. But all the Jnana Indriyas are around your head. All your Jnana Indriyas. Then there are 5 Karma Indriyas. The Karma Indriyas are the organs by which you act. You create action in the gross world. Hands, legs, voice, anus, genitals. 5 Karma Indriyas. So there is a group of 5. 4 groups of 5. And in this purport, Prabhupada is saying that in some literature it says there's a 5th group of 5 deities also. So, the entire classification, entire understanding of this material world, material energy, in the Vedic perspective, is not, it is built up of atoms, then, how, the way the scientists are trying to see this world. So, is that wrong? No, it's not wrong. That is one way of classification which is convenient for them for manipulating the material energy. So for manipulating the Panchabhuta, they are trying to understand, they split Panchabhuta, go deeper, deeper, all this. Not even Panchabhuta. For them everything is one Bhuta only. They are also Bhutas. Whereas in the Vedic system, why gross material energy is divided into 5? Just see. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. It is very much connected to perception of a living being. So entire classification is based upon understanding the perception. Now scientists are going, they say that this is made up of atoms. It's nothing to do with perception. Nobody can see the atoms. Atoms are irrelevant in life. But all these things that are being talked about, senses of perception, senses of action, they are all very realistic. So spiritual life is about understanding all these things and controlling all these things towards coming out of this bodily concept of life. So therefore, from that perspective of a human being, this Sankhya, the study of these elements in this particular manner of classification is very relevant. So it is very scientific. Those who are too much involved in physics and science and everything, they immediately, the world is made up of Panchabhuta and Jnana Indriya, Karma Indriya and all these things. They sound so silly, so shallow they were. At least we know, Earth is made up of further, there is atom. So we have advanced science. It's so naive, how they're very, they didn't have much knowledge. So they say, gross world means earth, water, fire, air, ether. Looks like some tribal classification of some tribals. But actually, if you go deep into it, it is all centered around perception. Soul. Soul is there to perceive this world. So perceiver is not at all included in the modern science. In modern science, they don't include perceiver at all. They only talk about, atoms and matter and this, different kinds of liquid, solid, all these kind of things. They only talk about that, but they don't talk about, if you ask simple question, does a microscope feel the sense of seeing? There's a microscope. You are seeing something. So you see something and you have a sense of seeing. Does a microscope have a sense of seeing? No, it does not have a sense of seeing. Now who goes and sees the microscope? Somebody who has a sense of seeing goes and sees the microscope to study according to your own science. Why you are not explaining that seer also? That seer is also part of the system. So that means you are not studying the total system. You have separated something and you are studying that. You are not studying what is the seer. And today that has been proved in quantum mechanics by their own endeavor. Krishna has bewildered them. That after certain stage, without the observer being in the equation, you cannot understand matter itself. The seer has become a factor in the mathematical equations. Seer. Forcefully. That has shaken up the entire world of physics, because they thought seer is irrelevant. Seeing is affecting. Simply seeing is affecting. Observing is affecting. Not because some light ray is going from the observer to the atom and therefore that light ray is impacting it. No, it's not like that. All that they have eliminated. Simply one seeing, one observer factor is required. One seer is required to solve the equation. One factor. That is called the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So, entire physics has gone into another dimension. Today, quantum physicists, each quantum physicist is a philosopher. Because they have to explain that observer. And nobody is able to, everybody is giving different theories. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? The equations are glaring at them. What is that he is trying to understand in different ways. So each fellow is having his own philosophy. The quantum mechanics has become a philosophy now. There are hundreds of books, philosophy of quantum mechanics. So this kind of classification is very highly evolved, spiritually evolved classification of material world. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then tanmatras, then the jnana indriyas, then karma indriyas, then the soul, then the super soul, then kala, then the three modes of material nature. All these things, the manas, buddhi, ahankara, these are all things that are how, In other words, the world is being studied in its operative phase. That is, because what do I and you see? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, all this. So in its operative phase, the world is described. Operative phase means including soul is there. That means jnana indriya, karma indriya is there. Everybody is doing different activities with their legs, hands, everything, karma indriya. So to understand what is this world in its operative phase, that is the classification of Sankhya. Highly evolved, spiritually evolved, not it is naive. It requires very fine intelligence to understand how beautiful this system of description of what the creation consists of. It requires spiritual intelligence. Of course, in our, this is only to say that the Vedas have given us information of everything. The Sankhya philosophy gives the most scientific understanding of material world with respect to the living entities, relationship with material energy. It gives the best kind of a science, Sankhya philosophy. But as Bhakti Yogis, we don't even bother about Sankhya philosophy. That is also jnana. Why I don't need all this jnana? We follow a descending process of simply following the instructions faithfully. And when the instructions are followed faithfully, automatically the knowledge is revealed. Just like no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling. We are not analyzing fully why no illicit sex. Okay, now I have understood fully why no illicit sex. Why no meat eating? Why no gambling? Why no, why you should not do these things? Let me understand these things and then I shall follow. That is a jnani's path. What is our path? We understand that these instructions are coming from the Supreme Intelligence, Krishna. I don't have to use my own independent intelligence to understand these instructions. I should execute those instructions. When I execute those instructions faithfully, all the intelligence behind those instructions will be revealed to me. Not first I understand and then I follow. In Bhakti Yoga, what do? You follow first, then you understand later. Jnana serves bhakti. Jnana will come behind bhakti. Following the instructions of the pure devotee to serve the Supreme Lord is bhakti. The intelligence behind those instructions, instructions are the end result of a certain logic, understanding, everything. Lot of intelligence behind it. We generally try to understand, I understood all these things, so from tomorrow I won't do this. What the Shastra says is right. No illicit sex, yes, it's correct. No intoxication, correct. No, I shall not have it. I shall not do it. Because you are backed with knowledge, therefore you don't want to do it. That is a jnanic path. But here we have backed with faith in the pure source, parampara. What is being spoken is the truth. Here, no intoxication means no intoxication. Maybe I cannot understand today. But if I follow that instruction, instead of waiting for me to understand and follow the instruction, if I follow the instruction, entire knowledge behind why you should not intoxicate will automatically come. There is no difference between spiritual instruction and the knowledge and the intelligence behind that spiritual intelligence. That is the principle of Advaya Jnana. Therefore, we see the pure path of bhakti is what? Faithfully following in the footsteps of pure devotees. following what they have told, you automatically become a jnani. All jnana will serve us. But if you wait for jnana to understand something your entire life, hundreds life, 1,000 lives, you will never understand why no illicit sex. You will never get fully convinced. You will be convinced this way and that way also. Why no intoxication? Why no gambling? You will get convinced. Sometimes you will have a nice realization, oh, it should not be done. And suddenly then again you will fall down. Oh, because your following is based on your smriti, your remembrance. Isn't it? Your knowledge, your jnana, your depends on your jnana. You are following. But if you are following the instructions, if the inspiration for following the instruction is not your jnana, but it is your devotion to the instructions of the spiritual master, then there won't be any vacillation. Faithfully trying to follow instruction, then one gets spiritual strength to follow that instruction. And as he follows, then the knowledge will be revealed. This is a very important difference in the pursuit of self-control. Even we also, in Bhakti Yogis, what we should do, what we should not do, there are instructions given by Prabhupada. We don't try to really understand why, we just follow. And very soon we will understand why. Because we understand why, for the sake of preaching, we may tell the people, we may preach because you have to bring them through jnana. We may preach like that. But for us, it is not jnana. Prabhupada said, Krishna said. Krishna said, this is bad. Krishna said, lust is our enemy. Krishna says, greed is our enemy. Krishna said, this is poison. Krishna says this, over, end. Who can be better than Krishna? So brilliant he is. You want to use your tiny 5 paisa intelligence and understand? And wait for it to understand in order to perfectly follow? Till I understand, I will not follow? You are slowing your growth. So Bhakti Yoga is, as Prabhupada says, is like getting into a lift and going to the top floor straight, no staircase business. So what is the meaning of this lift? This lift means faithfully following the instructions of Guru. We always give in Bhakti, Bhakti is direct processes. Lift. We preach also. Whereas the other one is through staircase. But you don't know what is this lift. What is that lift? Faithfully following the instructions of pure devotees is a lift. What is a staircase? I will understand each step, then put the next step. In staircase, how do you climb? You put one step, you stand there on one leg, then you lift the other leg and put on that step, then you stand there on that leg, and then you put, right? So this is called jnana, jhanic path. Every step you need jhanic support to move forward. Very slow process. What is our tiny intelligence? How can we understand the global impact, the universal impact of no intoxication, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling? Maybe even according to you, how it affects you, you may know. You may be able to analyze many things. Little small pockets of understanding you may get. Why you have to be a vegetarian, etc., etc. Make it little. But what is its total understanding? What is its total impact? Why God is saying you should not do it? Why God is saying cow is important? No, nobody understands. What is the difference between cow and buffalo? Nobody can answer, even we cannot answer. Why only a cow is sacred? Why is more sacred? Every animal is sacred. Why only cow is more sacred than bull? You don't know. So many things, fine truths that is very common from the Vedas, from the scriptures. We don't know. But there is a great significance behind it, which with a tiny brain we cannot understand. We simply have to follow the instructions. The question? Yes.
Harish, since material science, we have seen the defaults of material science, failurities of material science, and there is spiritual science also. Since both are science, so both have a purpose. So, but whereas one fails and the other pursues, why is it, and what is the purpose, and why is it that it fails? If both have one purpose is to establish reality. So why is it one failing and one?
One is failing because it's an independent search for truth. The other doesn't fail because it is Krishna dependent. You are depending on the descending process of knowledge. You recognize that I cannot find everything. The truth is there, I have to understand the truth. In the other process, they are saying truth is not there, I have to discover the truth. I have to discover it. This knowledge did not exist before. Now we are discovering, science is discovering more and more, and science is creating knowledge, they think. Whereas in our system, we don't think we create knowledge. We say all knowledge exists eternally. We need to access it and understand it. That process of accessing and understanding is called the Vedic process, as a descending process of knowledge.
That is where the perception comes.
Yes, that's where perception comes. Even apart from that, the modern science is, by definition, they are saying that ultimately everything is 5 sense perceptions. If anything go beyond that, it is not science. So that way also it is very limited. Even study of mind and thoughts and all this psychology is not considered as a science. Physics, chemistry, chemists and all, they never consider psychology as a science. Science should be verifiable to the 5 senses. Psychology, you are not even verified. Tell me how to verify mind. The scientist will ask. The scientist will ask, you know why I say psychology is not a science? Because you're talking about a mind. Mind, how do we establish mind? One day when you establish that out of chemicals the mind has come, then I will accept. According to us, some complicated mechanism is there where some chemicals mix together, you get the mind effect. When you have not discovered that, you are very premature. Why you are talking about that mind? You could be wrong. Let us create mind out of chemicals, and then our study will continue into the mind. जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।